Hey, so in this video I'm going to show you how to make Paul Hollywood's apricot Couronne. It's famous and it's so good. I've made it so many times and I've loved it. I love it. Everyone who tries it loves it. It's sweet, it's not overpowering in its sweetness, and it's just really good. It's a great pastry to have in the morning and I just love it. I think it's great. So here is a video of how I make it. So there are a few tweaks because I live in such a high altitude. But yeah, so hope you like it and let me know if you have any questions. For this recipe, you're going to need a scale that can measure grams. It also needs to be able to measure either milliliters or ounces. So as long as you have those, you should be fine. So what you'll need is 250 grams flour. I do a mix of bread flour and all-purpose. The bread flour is going to create a firmer structure, and it's really good for breads. And since this was more of a pastry, I didn't think it mattered that much, so I just used half and half. The first adjustment I made for the high altitude was the yeast. You use actually less yeast at higher altitudes. This is when I use just slightly more milk than what is called for. At the higher altitude, the liquid evaporates quicker, so I added 2 tablespoons more. So you're gonna notice here that I'm taking out little chunks of butter while I'm mixing the dough together. The butter I'm using was previously frozen. And even though I put it in the microwave, it wasn't long enough. And so I needed to put those chunks back in so they could get soft enough to mix into the dough. So I didn't record me dicing up the apricots and soaking it in orange juice, but basically I just took the 120 grams of apricots, diced them up, and then squeezed a full orange. I feel like the longer the apricots have to soak in the orange juice, the better. actually put it into the fridge because the dough was really soft. While editing the video, I realized the reason why it was so soft is because I didn't knock out all of the air before I started rolling it out into a rectangle to shape the dough. So that's one thing that I would change for next time is to, just knock out all the air. And I was kind of worried that it was going to rise too fast, and so that's why I put it into the fridge. That's it. It was delicious. It was so good. My husband and I, the first one I made 2 this week. The first one I made, we finished in less than half a day. It's so good. It's so yummy, and I think everyone who tries this recipe is really going to enjoy it. So yeah, that's it. And that's how you make an apricot Corone.